Hey, what's up, North47 here, and welcome along to the third and final part of the little gameplay comparison series that we're doing here on the channel. In part 1 we took a look at the original Golf Club game, and then in part 2 we had a look at the Golf Club 2 and what improvements that brought over the Golf Club 1. So today, obviously for part 3, we're going to be having a look at the Golf Club 2019 featuring PGA Tour and seeing exactly where we are currently today as the franchise stands. So obviously, actually just before I get into things, I will apologise, I'm not going to be using the same course that we've used in the past two videos. At the time of recording now, it is just coming up on 9:30 p.m. on the 20th of August, so about 30 minutes ago or so, part 2 of this series will have just gone live on the channel for you guys. But at the moment, I'm sure a lot of you are aware, some of you may well not be, of what has happened to do I even dare say the names anymore? But what has happened recently in game regarding Augusta or Magnolia, whatever versions of the course. They are now very, very hard to get. If you have them in your favourites list, I believe you can still get them. There is still some of them in my favourites list, but the version that I was going to use is now gone. I cannot find it. I haven't found a way to find it yet, but there is a lot up in the air. We don't know what's happening. We still, at the time of recording anyway, have no official word from HB as to what went on. There's word going that it's just the folks over at Augusta just said, nope, it's not officially licensed, take it out of the game. There's other speculation as to whether or not maybe behind the scenes, keeping things nice and quiet, have to R2K and HB working on licensing agreements for a new game. Because obviously it's, as I say, it's 20th of August now. We still haven't heard. There's definitely going to be no new game this year, but could there be one for next year? We honestly don't know what's going on at the moment. As I said, no official word at the time of recording this video, but hopefully we do hear something soon. All I can say is condolences, I suppose, to the designers who have put in countless hours, blood, sweat and tears recreating those courses, only to have them basically wiped, pretty much, so to speak, unless you have them in your favourites and you can still get to play them. It is a big shame because the RCR courses are a big draw to the game. But so that's why for this video we're actually going to be using one of the HB official courses, one of the TPC courses. So I just thought I'd get that out of the way really quickly. So right here on the menu anyway, getting into things, what has TGC 2019 brought forward and expanded upon over TGC1 and also TGC2? Well, straight away, obviously, we know it's the Golf Club 2019 featuring PGA Tour, so we got the PGA Tour license, and that brought along with it 6 official TPC courses. So let me just go in, just double check the names of them all. I can think of a few of them off the top of my head, but not all of them. So we have TPC Boston, TPC Deer Run, Scottsdale, Southwind, Summerlin and Sawgrass. So as I said a minute ago, we'll use Scottsdale today for this video, but we'll just back out for a second, just have a little look around the menu as to what else was brought in. Obviously, one thing that was brought in then was managed parties, so in-game parties now, and proper matchmaking. No longer did you have to, in a way, still play alongside, even though the person would be live on the course with you, you'd still technically be playing against a ghost or whatever. You weren't actually on the course. Again, this is quote unquote technically still weren't on the course during TGC2 with anybody else online. We had the addition of private matches. We had what match types did we get actually? Again, it's been a while since I played them. Let's have a little look. We got obviously head-to-head teams, so alt shot wagers being skins, and really brought a bit more life to the multiplayer. The PGA Tour career obviously expanded greatly on the career over the past 2 games, and that also brought in the addition of commentator Luke Elvey alongside John. And I do feel now I will probably touch a bit again on this later on in the video, but I do feel that Luke could have had a little bit more of a part to play throughout the career. Again, I will touch on that later on. We also had the addition of solo society, so the online societies did return, and after a patch shortly, or well, a while after release anyway, that got expanded upon from being 5 societies to be now 10 societies that you can join. The driving range, chipping practice and putting practice all made a return. What else did we get? What else did we get? Let's just really quickly. No, not settings. I don't want to go into settings. Yeah, we have the Edit Golfer made a return. Nothing really changed in there. Still pretty much the same as TGC2. Obviously, we do have the addition of the licensed clothing like Under Armour and stuff. So that was also brought in. But what I want to do real quickly is a big shout out once again, and thank you to Toon Gamer as well, who pointed this out from the first video. I don't know how I completely missed it, but just on screen now on the right hand side you should see a screenshot from that video, and well, there is the aces and all that stuff, the holes in one. I don't know how I completely missed it. I think it was down to the fact I was recording late at night, so I was fairly tired, but even still, even being that tired, I should have spotted it right on screen. So as you can see, in TGC1 I had 54 holes in one, and is at 6 albatrosses as well. Just below it now on screen you'll see my stats from TGC2, so 15 holes in one and 8 albatrosses there. And here we are down on the left with 23 holes in one currently, and currently 5 albatrosses. So that is, holes in one wise, is, my maths is correct, 92 holes in one across all 3 games. And that's 5 and 6, 11, 19 albatrosses. I hope my math is correct there. I hope my math is correct. 19 albatrosses across all 3 games. Excuse me. But yeah, big thanks to Toon Gamer again for pointing that out. I literally, I can only just blame being that tired while recording that previous video on completely missing that. Handicap record, all that stuff all came back, returning. We actually also, just up on the top, you'll see level 100. So we had the addition of leveling up throughout your career as well as online or local play, to unlock different clothing items. And I think actually no, you couldn't unlock that way designs or whatever, patterns and stuff. Clubhead did change out your clubhead. I think you just unlocked them if I remember correctly. So I'll tell you what, without wasting any more time, what we'll do is we'll load up the course anyway. As I said, we're going to be playing on TGC Scottsdale. I say I'm not going to touch it. It is very hard to try and get the course now anyway, and I said that the version that I wanted to use I cannot seem to find now. So we're going to keep everything as default, and we will play from the black tees. So obviously the multi-tees, multi-pins, all that has also returned. I'm sure everybody's well aware that we're all playing the game anyway. But these black tees are going to be playing 7,258 yards, and we'll keep it on pin set 1. So I'll be back in just a second down on the first tee. Okay, so here we are down on the first tee at TGC Scottsdale, pardon me, for this final video, and probably not going to be the best of gameplay as well, again like the previous videos, while I'm playing away. But addition wise, also you can see straight away there, obviously the shot feedback greatly improved upon over TGC2, with a lot more detailed for the tempo. It was able to tell you how fast you were. If you were inside those blue boxes, you were perfect. A lot more detail. You could see more clearly as to exactly where you were going wrong with your shots, whether they be fast or slow or whatever. Obviously then as well we have the addition now of the aiming circle. When you zoom down, it's no longer on the screen here at the address position. What else do we have? Again, I did jot down a few little bullet points for certain things that I want to talk about, but I didn't go into major detail. I've mainly been looking at the forums constantly all day to see if there's been any update from HB themselves as to what has recently happened. So hopefully we do hear something soon and find out exactly what's happening. But back on to anyway, I mentioned a few minutes ago the addition of Luke Elvey being brought in commentator wise, and I mentioned that I feel personally myself that he could have had a little bit more of a role to play. What I mean by that is when you're playing through the career, he only really comes in at the start of the round, after the front 9, and then at the end of the round only just briefly. Whereas I think if for the next game, if they do bring Luke back himself again to commentate alongside John, or if they even get somebody else completely new, it would be nice to see them maybe have a bit more of a role to play, commentate throughout the round on each hole along with John. And say, for example, if it's going to be on the likes of an officially licensed PGA course, whether it be TPC or if they get any more courses, that it could give like hole by hole information. Similar, I suppose you could say, to what EA did in their PGA titles, and just broadened upon it a little bit more. Just a little bit of would assistance be the right word for John? Because myself personally, I always turn off the commentary, just because it can get kind of repetitive. I know there's only so much can be put into the game, but I would definitely like to see a little bit more of a part to play for any additional commentators brought into the next game. So moving on with the things that I do not want to change. Now I only have 2 things. I'm sure there's plenty more. I'm sure some of you could even tell me more things that you would not want to change. Anyway, straight away I will say gameplay mechanics, the core gameplay mechanics that have been kept throughout the 3 games. So how the gameplay is more sim-wise, it's not arcadey. Keep that going. Improve where things maybe need to be improved if needs be. Otherwise, I know a lot of people may well disagree with me on this, but otherwise I find it to be pretty good now at the moment. It's hard to tell. The likes of the shot feedback, as I did mention there a second ago, is very, very informative. It's a lot more informative over the shot feedback from TGC1 in regards to telling you where you're going wrong with your shot, how good it was. So I think that's perfectly fine. But physics-wise, the way the ball is and stuff, I would like to see, a little bit more on the likes of backspin brought back. Nothing too crazy, but just be able to get, you can get backspin in the game, but it's almost a rarity at this stage. Even on the soft greens, like where you would expect, if you hit in a highly lofted lob wedge and that comes down, and that you generate a lot of spin with that shot, so you'd be kind of expecting it to sink its teeth in and just come straight back. So being able to play long from the hole, like say for example here now, for me to be able to touch the ball down around about here and get it to spin back towards the hole, maybe if it comes back a little bit past the hole, fair enough, but nothing too crazy. Just try and work a little balance in there somehow. But otherwise, I'll say the core gameplay mechanics, don't have it getting too arcadey. If needs be, maybe to bring in more of a challenge, bring in a 4th club set. So at the moment we have the standard player and tour, so maybe bring in something like I'm saying tour. Tour was TGC2. This master clubs. So maybe something like legends clubs or something like that. I don't know. It's just off the top of the head. For an added challenge for anybody who wishes to have that. But otherwise, definitely keep the multi clubs, because not everybody's going to be able to use the higher difficulties. Some people might be only brand new to the next game, and maybe I want to start out with and ease themselves in with the easier clubs being the standard or whatever. And some people, even after a while, might just be more comfortable with the mid-range player style clubs, where they'll get good distance, have decent control, and it's a nice bit of a balance between the standard and the master clubs. So keep that sort of thing. I'm happy enough with that. But if they want to add in the likes of a 4th one, so don't change that. The big one out of the 2, that must stay, that must not change, and I'm sure everybody will agree with me on this one, is the designer. The course designer needs to stay. That's been a lot of people will say this, that it is the main attraction for an awful lot. So many people, even whether or not they want to do RCRs or just do fantasy courses, that has been a major thing that has kept this going over the years, and has brought people back. I don't do course reviews myself. I'm sure you're aware of that by now, but other channels do course reviews, and it's great to be able to see the likes of that, whether you're just playing the courses by yourself or whether you're watching people on YouTube play these courses and review them, to be able to see the work that people have put into their courses, the hard work, to get them as detailed as possible, whether they be RCRs, getting them as close as humanly possible to the actual course in real life, or just going absolutely crazy and building the best possible fantasy course that they want. Or even if people just want to go wild and build, as we call them, the Mickey Mouse crazy golf courses or whatever, that definitely needs to stay. That's why this is I think a little bit of a concern that a few people have with regards to what has happened recently. Is this going to transfer across to other RCR courses? Hopefully it's not going to be the case. Hopefully other golf course owners, managers, directors, whatever, committees, they all feel, okay, look, these people, they love the game of golf. They've put in this time and have to recreate this course. It may not be officially licensed, but the designer's not getting any money from it. They're not making anything from it. So it's strictly from a love of the game point of view that these courses are in the game. So it's unfortunate now that this current situation has happened. For things to add, I was kind of going to keep this towards the end of the video, but we're on the 7th hole anyway. So for things to add, should the PGA license remain? That's the thing, that's what I was mentioning earlier. We don't know whether or not there is some sort of agreements going on in the background that HB and R2K are working on stuff in the background for another game. So should PGA licensing return? Should they still have the license for the game or for the next game? The idea, now I know HB did mention this before, that they would like to have real player names in the game. Now I'm not saying that they need to do the likenesses of these players. Still let us obviously create our own golfers, and like what we have now with the PGA Tour career, build our way up, going through the web.com, getting the license and working your way up through the PGA. Have that, but have just on the leaderboards the actual real PGA players' names. If they want to add in other tours like European Tour or whatever, so be it, but just to have those names, even if it was just the top 100 players, even just the top the WGR 100, if it was just that, I'd be personally happy enough with that. But just to see those real names rather than just these random made up names, that'd be a great thing to add in. As I did mention, no need to put in the actual likenesses of the golfers, because unless they want to do some sort of story thing, I don't know whether or not they'd go down that road, but otherwise we'd be playing as our own golfer anyway. So adding on to that then with licensing, obviously at the moment we have the likes of Under Armour being the big main branding in the game. We also have Tattoo Golf, Vice, what are the other ones? I can't think of them off the top of my head now, but if more were to be added, say equipment wise, let us be able to have the clubs, but again, going back to the different club sets, only have them, because that's one of the things that's good for the golf club games, is yes, we do now have these multiple club sets where one can give an advantage of distance, another can give an advantage of control, and then you have that balance in between. But if there were to be licensed equipment, just have it cosmetic. So keep the actual clubs. Just say, for example, if we were to get back standard player and master clubs, and no addition of a fourth one or whatever, just have the named clubs be, just as I say, cosmetic only. It's not going to add, like one brand is not going to add a bit of power or extra power over another one, which might add a bit better control or something like that. Just keep it strictly cosmetic. The same as well for our clothing branch, like if that can be branched out, and I'd like to see that kind of branched out. Like, I'm not wanting to see a full on diving into what EA had built up over the years, that kind of thing. But I mean, if they can branch out and get the licensing, so be it. Fair enough. I'll be happy enough. I'd no problems at all with that. But maybe give us a little bit more options. One thing that I would have liked to have done with this one, like, I mean, I have an Under Armour shirt on now. I'd like to have been able to just add an emblem onto the shirt, be it on the back or on the sleeves or something like that. But currently we can only do that in the HB branded generic sort of clothing. So maybe if it was permitted to be able to do that, do a little bit more customization option, maybe that way. if there were to be emblems, to be able to add in your own emblems or something like that. So like say TGC Tours. I don't think I have TGC Tours logo anywhere on, yeah, no I don't, I just have the golf club I think on the visor at the moment. But say again, the Under Armour shirt, be able to have TGC, the Under Armour logo is obviously, it's no matter what you do, it's going to be there on the left, even if you can't put an emblem over it and block that out, but have it on the right hand side, the TGC Tours logo for example, or HB or the golf club, whatever. One big thing that does need to return, and I was talking about it a minute ago, being the shot feedback. It needs to return, is your ghost or live rivals shot feedback. When you see them take a shot, you need to be able to see their feedback on screen. I did mention in the previous video that that's kind of where the controversy started in TGC2, was everybody was looking for those laser straight shots, and they would scrutinize your every single one of your shots to see if you were like, if they saw you shooting a very low score, you were guaranteed you were going to be followed, you were going to have your shot feedback analysed down to the finest detail to see if there's any little pixelated deviation in the shot lines. I briefly recall that HB said, or well, I'm not doing any quotes here, so don't quote me if I am wrong, but that HB took it out to try and sort of calm those accusations down, but unfortunately it backfired and it spiraled out of control now. So anybody shooting very, very low scores on a consistent basis, we can't see their shot feedback, and the intention there was, it was a good intention from HB, but at the end of the day, as I said, it did backfire. We do 100% need to get that back. There's a bit of a short swing from me. So that's a big one. That is a big one that needs to come back. One that needs to go, and I know a lot of people feel the same about this. Let's see if actually I can do it right now. So what, 158 is the distance, so I'd be playing this maybe about 150. So if I put down to, let's try and do a slow down swing. Okay, that's a very slow, so it's not going to go the extra, but you know where I'm going with this, the slow down swing, given that quote unquote the power fade, adding on extra distance, it goes against the laws of physics. If you hit a perfect full potential nice straight shot, zero wind conditions, and your driver is going to carry 285 on the master clubs, if you hit a slow down swing, you're not going to get extra yardage. It's given extra yardage. Fair, I can understand obviously the fast downswing, pulling the ball a bit to the left or whatever it's going to do, and giving extra yardage. That's understandable. You're generating a bit more pace and speed and power or whatever through that shot. So you're pretty much, you're going to get some extra yardage. Not much, might only be minor, but you're still going to get some. But a slow downswing, you are not going to get extra yardage, and it just, even though I never do a slow down swing or intentionally, it's always unintentional. It just, even with it being unintentional, it just looks so unnatural. As I said, it just goes against the laws of physics. If you hit something slowly, if you hit something to your full potential perfect, and that's your full potential shot, if you go with a slower downswing, you're going to lose a lot of yardage. So similar to the way that you lose a good bit of yard, you lose a certain amount of yardage with a slow backswing. That's how it should be. Personally, myself, that's how I feel with a slow downswing. If the ball's going to push off to the right, so be it. But you're going to lose yardage. You're not going to gain yardage. So that definitely 100% needs to go. That's all I can think of really now at the moment. As I say, I've been on and off the forums pretty much all day, so I didn't really get the chance to jot down anything else. I just did a few quick bullet points just before starting recording, while I was waiting for the ever annoying auto shutdown on my headset to kick in before I could start recording again. But hopefully we do hear something soon from HB or even 2K themselves as to what went on. Hopefully, to be honest, although it is a kick in the teeth to those designers, having lost hundreds of hours of work recreating those courses, I do hope that in the long run it is something it is going to turn out to be something positive, that maybe they are getting more licensing for courses. But if that's the case, because as far as I'm aware, I'll have to reinstall the games again. But as far as I'm aware, they're still available in TGC1 and TGC2. But it would be nice that should we, I don't know why I hit 2 wood there, but should we be getting in a new game the likes of officially licensed Augusta and Masters and all that sort of stuff added into PGA Career and stuff like that, excuse me, that we do have the return of the designer, and that there won't be any problems with, oh, that was a chip shot, that was meant to be a flop. I'm doing the opposite of what I did in the TGC2 video. But yeah, that there won't be any problems with still recreating any courses that haven't been officially licensed. Because again, as I did mention earlier on in the video, these designers, they're not making any money from it. It's strictly, I can't get my words out now. It's strictly for a love of the game. A love, like that designer obviously loves that course enough. Well, to be honest, may not even, well, being a golf fan, I presume, will love it to some extent, but may just fancy just having a go, having a bash at recreating that course. But that course could have easily been that designer's personal favourite course out of every single golf course available in the world, and they've put so many hours, as I mentioned, blood, sweat and tears into recreating that as best as possible. For me, that's more of an advertisement and a positive thing for that actual real life course, because it's not in the game, but yet, as I say, that's one of the things that I hear a lot of people asking, or, well, sorry, probably won't anymore, but did for quite a while, was, is Augusta available in the game? If it is, what's it called? Is it called Augusta? Is it called something else? And that's what people wanted, and it's just such a big shame. So hopefully we don't have a snowball effect now where other courses are going to be affected, because again, the designers, they are not making any money from this. It's just strictly for a passion for the game, the video game itself, but a passion for the game of golf, a passion for the course, a passion for recreating it and keeping it going, and letting others enjoy it. Us players, we're not making any money off it. It's the designer as well. That's another reason why it must remain in the game, is due to the fact that the sheer amount, the sheer volume of courses that we have access to. You can do a random search if you want, but I mean there is literally thousands of courses to choose from. What other golf game gives you that? I can't remember but if I remember right, it was in triple figure thousands anyway. I don't know if they've all been that was back in TGC2. Now obviously they haven't all been ported across the TGC 2019, but database wise, hundreds of thousands of courses available at your fingertips, basically, potentially. I think it's somewhere in the region, it's at least a couple of thousand courses, definitely, anyway, in TGC 2019. I don't know, I should have actually had a look before recording, but I don't know the exact figures, but it's definitely a couple of thousand courses available right now for you to play in this game. What other, as I mentioned a minute ago, what other golf game gives you that option, gives you that sheer volume of courses? And that is the main thing, one of the main things for players for this game, is just the sheer choice. You can play those wacky, crazy golf courses if that's your thing. You can go with the fantasy courses. They might be a bit on the crazy side, or they could be designed more towards the realistic side and play like a real course in real life. And then you have the designers, again, not to sound like a broken record, who have put in so much time and effort recreating those courses for us to enjoy in game, and they're not getting anything back in return for it, just apart from the praise from us in the community, saying fair play, we've been waiting for this course, like it's a joy to be able to play it in game. Excuse me. Now I know obviously we do have the officially licensed TPC courses now at the moment, but again, as I did mention earlier, I really do hope that the next game, if the designer goes in the next game, I personally feel, and I did see in the forums earlier as well, A few others feeling the same, that if the designer goes, there's going to be a big drop off in players. People who may only strictly design courses, but players who may design and play the game as well. There's potential to lose a lot of the long time player base if the designer is to be removed. You may even see channels die down and maybe drift onto other content. Like I potentially would myself. I know obviously I have got the course challenge series where I'm focusing on the RCR courses. I'm tempted to even just hold off on that now until we get official word from HB as to what went on. Why is that putting me on a flop shot? Just out of safety for not getting any strikes or anything like that. If the courses aren't officially licensed, obviously I can't get near an Augusta course. I'm not even going to. That's why I'm not using one, or any of the versions that I can get hold of. I'm not using in this video. But definitely, there is potential. Flop shot again. There is potential to lose a lot of player base if the designer goes, and that was a weird swing animation for that one there. But at least it's dry this time. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody from HB happens to see this video. I don't know. I mean, I only have a small subscriber count myself. I'm only a small channel, so I highly doubt it. But just if you just pick up on those few things, hopefully you still have a lot of influence over your game. You have developed this game over the years. I know 2K is now at present the publisher, and hopefully can bring good things to the game. But just definitely, as I say, just take those into account. The designer is one of the main attractions for this series so far, not only for designers but also for players, the likes of other channels that do course reviews. Being able to have such a wide variety of courses to play. I know I'm waffling on here, dribbling away the same stuff over and over again, but such a wide variety of courses to play and showcase for us, whether we want to play that course ourselves or whether we just want to watch this person play and review the course, and showcase it on their channel. So hopefully it's for the greater good in the long run. But again, just I do feel bad for those designers now who have had all that hard work essentially just wiped away over the recent events. But hopefully, as I say again, it is just for the greater good, and that it is just something in the background happening in regards to a new title, and that it's not just simply a case of the committee at said course just saying take it out of the game now. You haven't got our permission for it. It's not just a case of that, because that can get a little bit in other areas of media and stuff it's very much out of control. There's a lot of stuff now with fair use and all that on all over YouTube with regards to even just a 2-second snippet of music, but I'm not going to get into that. I didn't really talk much otherwise really about apart from just at the beginning about the changes brought forward in this game, but obviously we all know the changes. I'm sure you can work out the rest of the changes that I didn't, and improvements upon TGC2 that I didn't cover while yapping on throughout this video. But that's my input, and this has been the little 3-part series. So again, a big thank you to Toon Gamer, who put the idea into my head when asked me about the number of holes in one that I've gotten throughout TGC 2019 and the other 2 games, and curiosity got the better of me, and I reinstalled the game, should I say, and that's what brought about the idea for this little series. So I hope you did enjoy it anyway, and I'm sure myself, if you're not on the forums, myself or other channels will hopefully be able to update you as to any developments in the current situation revolving said course. But I'm going to leave it here anyway without waffling on anymore and boring you even more to death. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop it a like. If you're only new to the channel or you haven't already, make sure to subscribe if you wish to, and click that bell icon to keep yourself notified of all future uploads from myself. And just before I go, as I did mention, I'm a bit unsure. I'm on the fence at the moment. I'd say by the time you see this video, it's probably going to be Thursday. As I said, it is Tuesday the 20th of August now. I'm a little bit on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to be doing, until we get official word from HB, any more of the course challenge series, but I may do one as I say, I'm on the fence. But as always, until the next one, take care, have yourself a good one, and bye for now.